Hello friends, welcome to Exam Decoder. We are continuing with PT365 VISIONIAS Environmental Science module. This is part 4 in the series. In the part 1, we have completed wildlife and conservation. In the part 2, we have completed our forest topic. And in the part 3, we have completed wetlands, coastlands and oceans. This is the part 4. In this, we will see organizations in news. There are 3 organizations mentioned here. We will see in detail. The first here is Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, that is CITES. Next here is International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN. Third here is World Wildlife Fund, that is WWF. Now move to the topic, that is organizations in news in detail. The first here is Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, that is CITES. Headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. It is an internationally legal binding agreement between governments to ensure that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of the species. Do you know that over 38,000 species are protected by international agreement to prevent their exploitation? CITES came into the force in 1975. It was signed by 184 parties. India is also a member. CITES appendices. It contains the list of species accorded different levels or types of protection from overexploitation. It categorizes species into 3 different appendices. These 3 appendices of CITES are Appendix 1, Appendix 2 and Appendix 3. This is Appendix 1, 2 and 3. Let's see what is written in Appendix 1. It is about the species are threatened with the extinction. International commercial trade is prohibited. It means it bans commercial trade for the species at high risk of extinction, like tiger, rhinoceros. Next is Appendix 2. Species are not currently threatened but may become so without controlled trade. Trade requires an export permit or re-export certificate. No import permit is generally needed. Actually, Appendix 2 regulates trade of species that could be threatened. Many species come in this category. Even mahogany tree also comes in this category. It also requires sustainable harvest certifications. Next is Appendix 3. Species are listed at parties' request to prevent unsustainable or illegal exploitation. Trade requires appropriate permit or certificates. Actually, this Appendix 3 aids individual countries seeking cross-border cooperations to protect native species. Like in India, you can say about the pangolins. You may have heard about the pangolins. UPSC has already asked question related to the pangolins. CITES actually reminds us that protecting Earth's biodiversity is not one nation's duty. It is actually a shared global commitment. Next is report and indices. CITES rolls out the Global Picture Report. Actually, in July 2024, the CITES has released a comprehensive report titled CITES Rolls Out the Global Picture. This document provides an in-depth analysis of CITES listed rosewood species, focusing on their characteristic, ecological roles, regeneration rates, and the threats they face. It has also been highlighted that the release of CITES Rosewood, the Global Picture Report, this one, marks a significant step towards the sustainable governance of the forest resources also. It also emphasizes the collective responsibility to protect these valuable species for the future generation. Next is World Wildlife Trade Report. It was first ever released in 2022 and provides an overview of international trade in CITES listed species of wild plants and animals. It focuses on trade patterns, conservation impacts and socio-economic benefits also. Okay, moving to the next. Next here is International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN. The headquarters is in the Gland, Switzerland. IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, is the first global environmental organization focused on nature conservation and sustainable resource use. Before looking into detail, just answer me one question, that do you know that the scientists have assessed the extinction risk of over 1.5 lakh species, 1.5 lakh species worldwide. This critical work is actually led by this IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature. So what is written here? It was founded in 1948. It is actually the world's oldest and the largest global environmental network that is uniting governments, scientists and NGOs. And we have seen its mission. It is actually to conserve the nature and ensure the sustainable use of Earth's resources. The objective here given is promotes biodiversity conservation, sustainable development and influences environmental policy globally. The IUCN is best known for its red list of the threatened species. This is used as the standard scale for measuring the biodiversity health. We have already discussed about the red list of IUCN. In the threatened category, there are three, that is critically endangered, endangered and vulnerable. Other key initiatives are, first is IUCN Green List. This recognizes effective conservation areas. Next is World Conservation Congress. This is the global platform for conservation dialogues. Next is nature-based solution that uses nature to tackle challenges like climate change. Next is the reports and indices published by IUCN. First is agriculture and conservation. It explores the complex relationship between the agriculture and conservation. What are the key findings here? Agriculture directly threatens 34% of the species assessed on the IUCN red list of the threatened species. About 17% of species of IUCN red list have agriculture documented as a habitat. Next is Protected Planet Report that evaluates the protected area effectiveness. Next is about the nature-based solution for climate change. It promotes the nature in the climate solution. Moving to the next, that is World Wildlife Fund, WWF. Headquarter here is again Gland, Switzerland. This is an international non-profit organization working in nearly 100 countries. The aim is to develop and deliver innovative solution that protects communities, wildlife and the places in which they live. One symbol, this is giant panda, has become synonymous with the global conservation. Actually, WWF, that is World Wildlife Fund, is a leading force in protecting our planet's most vulnerable species and ecosystem. It was founded in 1961 and renamed as World Wide Fund for Nature in 1985. WWF India established a charitable trust in 1969. Actually, WWF has threefold mission. This is threefold mission. First is protect endangered species. This is protect endangered species. Second is preserve critical ecosystem. And third is promote sustainable practices. Got it? Actually, I told WWF is having threefold mission. The first is to protect endangered species. You can say like endangered species like tiger, elephant, marine turtles also can be included. This is the first. Next is to preserve critical ecosystem. That maybe you can say like Arctic tundra or tropical rainforest, any forest area means which is critical, that should be preserved. Next, third point here is promote sustainable practices, that is in agriculture or in fishing or in energy generation to reduce the humanity's ecological footprint. This WWF also organizes worldwide movement Earth Hour. This Earth Hour is simple yet powerful. Actually, on the last Saturday of March every year, individual, businesses and cities switch off non-essential lights from 8:30 pm to 9:30 pm by their local time. But this hour is more than a symbolic gesture. It is actually a catalyst for lasting change. As given, it is started in Sydney, that is in Australia. One very good statement is about Earth Hour is that Earth Hour is not just about what we turn off. It is about what we turn on, that is hope, collaboration and commitment to sustainable future. Let's see the reports and indices. First is Living Planet report. The key findings in the Living Planet report is the wildlife population declined by 73% over the past 50 years. That is, data is taken from 1970 to 2020, where the freshwater population has suffered heaviest declines, followed by terrestrial and marine populations. Adopting India's consumption pattern worldwide would need less than one Earth by 2050. So we have completed our fourth part, that is organizations in news. In the next part, we will start with the climate change. Biodiversity is completed now. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, share and subscribe.